But this sudden show of force in the Caribbean isn't just about drugs. It's about geopolitics. Trump's naval deployment coincided perfectly with South American allies tightening their stance against Maduro. Ecuador, for example, has grown closer to Washington, signing a 2024 memorandum that brought millions in U.S. aid, new aircraft, and military training. Paraguay has also deepened its cooperation. These moves suggest coordination. The U.S. isn't acting alone. It's building a regional coalition against Maduro's regime. And Maduro knows it. He recently proposed joint anti-drug operations with Colombia, hoping to ease the pressure. Colombia's leftist president Gustavo Petro even endorsed the idea of coordination. But Washington, Quito, and Asuncion remain skeptical. To them, Maduro's words look like stalling tactics. Maduro's counterattack. Maduro isn't backing down. When Trump raised the bounty on his head, Maduro responded by mobilizing 4.5 million militia members. Housewives, retirees, and civil servants lined up in Caracas to receive training, a symbolic show of a people's resistance. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino, himself accused of being a cartel of the Sun's leader, then announced the deployment of drones and naval patrols along Venezuela's northern coast. According to reports, these drones may include Iranian-made Shahd 131s and Mohiger 6As, weapons infamous for wreaking havoc in Ukraine. If true, this gives Venezuela at least some capacity to harass U.S. warships, though experts doubt they pose any serious threat to America's advanced fleet. Still, even a swarm of low-cost drones could cause problems, particularly in confined Caribbean waters. Venezuela's military reality on paper. Venezuela's military is large. Over 300,000 active troops, 8,000 reserves, and millions more in militias. It boasts 200 tanks, 1,200 armored vehicles, and an arsenal of Russian-made Sukhoi fighter jets. But quantity doesn't equal quality. Much of this equipment is outdated, poorly maintained, or crippled by lack of spare parts due to years of sanctions. Against a U.S. destroyer group, Venezuela would stand little chance in a direct confrontation. Its navy, for example, has a handful of frigates and corvettes, decent for chasing smugglers, but no match for an American carrier strike group. In reality, Venezuela's strategy relies less on winning a war and more on deterrence through chaos, militias, drones, and the threat of asymmetric attacks. Signs of fear behind the bluster. Despite his fiery rhetoric, Maduro is showing signs of pressure. Days after the U.S. fleet's arrival, Venezuela deployed 15,000 troops to the Colombian border in an apparent attempt to demonstrate action against traffickers. Reports also emerged that Maduro quietly sought Chinese military support, including advanced coastal defense systems. Even more telling was a leaked Brazilian report about Operation Emery, a secret contingency plan to evacuate Maduro and his inner circle to Brazil if the U.S. launched a decapitation strike. Although Brazil denied the plan, the very idea reflects how insecure Maduro feels. The bigger picture, this standoff isn't just about drugs. It's about power. For Trump, confronting Maduro achieves multiple objectives. 1. Domestic politics. A tough stance on drugs in Venezuela plays well with his political base. 2. Regional influence. It reassures allies in South America who fear Venezuela's criminal network spilling across borders. 3. Strategic posturing. It signals to rivals like Iran, Russia, and China, all of whom have ties to Caracas, that the U.S. still dominates the Western Hemisphere. For Maduro, survival is the only goal. Drug money has become the oxygen of his regime, funding military loyalty and cushioning the economy. If that flow is cut off, his grip on power could collapse. What comes next? What comes next remain divided. Some see Trump's moves as mere saber-rattling, pressure designed to push Maduro into concessions without firing a shot. Others fear an accidental clash at sea, or a miscalculation involving Venezuelan drones could spark open hostilities. Either way, the U.S. has made one thing clear. It is willing to bring the fight closer to Maduro's doorstep than ever before. And Maduro, for all his bluster, seems to know the walls are closing in. So now the world waits. Will this remain a high-stakes bluff, or is South America about to join the growing list of global flashpoints? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this conflict has already begun reshaping the balance of power in Latin America. If you want to stay updated on these unfolding events, and on the dangerous chess game between Washington and Caracas, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning.